welcome to VVork. This is the continuation of a video series in which we're discussing containers, Docker, Kubernetes, PKS, and more with Marc Alumbaugh. In this video, Marc will talk about the traditional monolithic application model and how the industry is moving away from that to microservices.
Today, what we have is we've got what a lot of us refer to as monolithic applications. So this represents your application, this big thing inside here in the VM, and then each of these boxes inside here are representing some aspect of your app. Maybe you have, the front end of the app that's, painting the HTML or servicing the REST API, interpreting is the payload proper. Then you've got another piece that's doing authentication. You got another piece that's doing, creating the appropriate SQL select statement and et cetera. So you've got all these individual components that make up your application. Then also sitting down here at the bottom is you've got that base OS that it's running on. It's a lot of code. And this, by the way, was the way that we all used to do stuff. Okay, it was the only way to do it. Because it's so much stuff combined together, it was slower to update and could be slower to scale. You got to figure out, is just adding more CPU and RAM going to necessarily make your application go faster? Do you have to do some type of tweaking inside of it, increasing Java heap size or garbage collect, and et cetera? Where we're going is we're going over to here. This is where the industry is going, and everyone is telling you about that. I'll give you a slide in the next slide to kind of talk about that. So each box here, each one of the individual boxes actually turns into its own corresponding microservice. You take one box and you turn it into an individual service. So it's smaller, more modular code base. If I needed to update something, it's a smaller section of code, and your code becomes really kind of a single purpose type of thing. It does one thing, and those of you that have listened to some of your other podcasts, Brian talked about what an orchestrator black box, like a workflow or an action would be. That type of refactoring is existing here. So on the left side here, I had one thing basically running my application. Over here on the right side, maybe I might have 20 things that grouped together is my application. Those 20 individual microservices makes up my expense reporting system or my timesheet application. It's the sum of the 20 together that is actually making up my finished product, which leads to what you're seeing the industry say. Where we're going to end up, again, predictions of where in 2021 we're going to be running is we're going to be running somewhere in the billion range of containers. The number of virtual machines that we're running is sitting way down here. So our virtual machine growth rate is actually slowing down, but the number of containers that we're running is going to start taking off like we did when vSpheres first started, and we hit that 3x to 4x version number, and suddenly things just started going crazy. We were converting all of our physical workloads over to virtuals. Containers are our future. Okay, it's quicker for the people to update their code. They could be more agile, and we get more consistency occurring.
In the next video, Marc will discuss the relationship between Docker and Kubernetes. Join us in the next video to learn more.